Thanks everyone for joining, and a very happy good morning. So today we would like to show what we have implemented at CSCS to enable multi-factor authentication and enhancement for security at CSCS. So I will go with a short presentation, and then we will have a short demo. Later we can have a question and answer session. So you can unmute yourself. Our team will help us to unmute you, and when you raise your hand, and we can have you can ask the question, or else you can use the question answers chat box on the Zoom. So let's start. So first of all, I'm Narendra, working as an IAM architect at CSCS since last 1.5 years. So yeah, very glad to meet you all here and going on. So first of all, I would like to start like some of these topics, like what is MFA and why MFA is important, and these things. So MFA is nothing but multi-factor authentication, which is a authentication method that requires the user to provide 2 or more verifications. So in order to protect their digital identity. So the first factor authentication was done with say using username and password, and then we need to bring some additional factors. For example, authentication using a PIN or using some other factors. So in general, there are some factors. For example, something which can be given as multi-factor, let's say PIN as an example. And sometimes something you have, for example, a OTP on your phone, or a USB key, or something which you have that can prove who you are while performing the authentication as a second level. And the third one is like something you are, like the biometrics, or like your fingerprint, your facial expressions, etc. And there might be another factors, but these are the 3 main factors in authentication when it comes to MFA. So at CSCS, we implemented a 2-factor authentication, which is a 2-factor authentication is a subset of MFA, and we implemented that using time-based OTP, which is a kind extension of HMAC. So yeah, we are using a Authenticator app so that users can use it for 2FA. So I will just give a glance, like why is it more important, like to avoid the stealing of credentials using some brute force attacks, or if users use same password on multiple sites, and if one of the site got attacked, so it's easy for the attackers to misuse the credentials. So to avoid that, the MFA is important. And yeah, MFA will use the standards like identity and access management standards for the enhancing the better security. So yeah, this is very briefly about why MFA is very important. So I'm very specifically talking about CSCS. In CSCS, we have 2 channels, or I would say 2 entry points from where users can authenticate. One is using our web applications, which are exposed to internet. For example, if you see here in the slide, it's like some abc.cscs.ch. So ABC means any web app. For example, our accounts.cscs.ch, or our Jupyter service, or any other web application which is protected by our key clock is one way of authentication or one channel for users to enter into CSCS. And the second way is like users can connect to compute nodes using SSH. SSH is another authentication mechanism or the access mechanism which we are which we are using at CSCS. So going forward, when we are accessing web applications and after first factor authentication, say username and password, user will be asked to enter the OTP, which is a 6-digit code that can be get from Authenticator application on your device. So for all web services which we are exposing to internet and we're integrated with our key clock, this is the process going forward. And then the second thing is system access. So we implemented a new service called SSH service through which our users will generate the public key and the key pair, and using that key pair they can access our system. Please note, we are not saving the private key on our side. It is a dynamically generated key pair, and the certificate which we are providing to the users is actually signed certificate with our CA. And yeah, for accessing SSH, this is the way to go going forward. And for the enrollment process, usually all the users will get an email once we enable MFA on our side. I'm repeating, like, we are not enabling all the users in one go. We are doing this in batches. And after receiving that email, users needs to access any of our web service, like account.cscs.ch or Jupyter, or even our SSH service.cscs.ch. Once they access this URL, they need to perform the usual one-factor authentication, first factor authentication using their username and password. And then they need to enter a 6-letter code, which will be received by the users through email. So as I mentioned, as in the screen, step number 3, users will receive a token through the email, and they need to verify their email. This step will confirm that the credentials earlier are not attacked. And even if attacked, users cannot, the attackers cannot enroll for MFA without this step, because the email address is our like a verification process. So once it is done, users needs to, one of the prerequisite is user already have installed the Authenticator app on their mobile, whether it is a Google Authenticator or free OTP. And there might be other Authenticator apps as well. So once they install the application, they need to scan this QR code and import the seed, the OTP seed, into the device. And once it is imported, the first OTP they see on the device, they need to enter on the screen showed here in the step 3. So this is the, and click on submit. This is the complete enrollment process. And once the user got enrolled, it's like access any web application on the browser, and then key in their username, password, and submit their OTP from the device, and they can directly log on. So I hope this is clear for the web services. Whereas from system access, again, in SSH service, we have 2 methods. One is using the web application here, and the second one is using the script we are providing to the users through the command line. So first, I will go with this approach, like when the users access the web application, they will log in using MFA, and then they just need to click on this, which I will show in a while. They just need to click on next button in order to generate a key pair, and then they download the public key certificate and the private key. So for now, this is not protected with a passphrase, but we will show the recommended options in our demo. And then the other way is we are providing a shell script or a Python script through which user needs to, can log in using the MFA and get the keys. And using the commands which I listed here, they can just set the keys and log into the login nodes, or from there we can log on or jump on to the compute nodes. So yeah, now in the demo I will show what actual process we are following. Let me quickly exit. And so first I will show the enrollment process. I'm accessing one of our services, web services, and key in my credentials. And once I got authenticate, I will get an email. Okay, I got the email, and I'm inputting the code and click on submit. So I already have an Authenticator app on my mobile. And I'm scanning with my Authenticator app. And once the seed is inputted, I just need to enter my first OTP. Yeah, and let's say, okay. First one. And that is it. Now, to authenticate, I will start from the beginning. Now I have my OTP got set up, and MFA is enrolled. Now let's say if I access my SSH key service, and I need to key in my credentials as first factor. After authentication, it will ask for OTP, which I need to key in from the mobile. And click on login. So yeah, this is our SSH service from where I need to generate the key pair. So click on generate the key, where we can click on continue. This will generate the public certificate, which is signed with our CA, and then the private key. Users can download, and yeah, they can set in the SSH, and they can access with the help of these keys. This is one way of downloading the keys, but now I will show using the command line. By the way, the instructions were already given in the user.csch, where on the getting started, we have multi-factor authentication. So from where we can get the script, we actually gave a Git repository from where we can download the client script. So for now, I'm using, so here I will show what exactly I have in my SSH folder. Yeah, this is a usual setup. And now I created a folder called demo for this webinar. So I'm using the git command to clone my the script which we are providing. Yeah. So I'm setting some. So yeah, for now, I'm running the shell script, but later I will show a video which is using actually Python. And when I ran this command through the command line, I need to key in my credentials and then the password and OTP. So yeah, my keys were downloaded. So if I can go back here, I can see the keys which I just generated, like the public cert and also the private key. So now using these keys, I can just connect to the system. By the way, this is the keys which we generated don't have any passphrase. So we will recommend to use a passphrase. I mean, this command to set the passphrase, or this is our recommendation because in order to protect the key. But for now, for the demo sake, I'm just running the command. I'm adding to my agent SSH add. I'll just copy CSCS Authentication. Yep. Now I'm connecting to one of our login nodes because it is already imported. So I can just, yeah. So now I'm able to connect to ELA or my login nodes from where I can jump to the DAINT, for example. So as yeah, I can just do SSH DAINT to run it, but I should use, let me change the command. -A. Yeah. Now SSH DAINT, let's say 101. And I can jump and connect to my login node. So this is a quick demo using the shell script. Let me run a video which illustrates on how to use the Python script. So here, yeah, we are just cloning and navigating to the folder and running the virtual env. We need to install some environmental like variables or sorry, the source, and then yeah, we need to some prerequisites we need to install before connecting. Yeah, executing the Python script, which will ask for username, password, and then OTP. Yeah, once it is validated, it will download the keys. Yeah, and the rest is. So here in the demo, we are setting the passphrase. Yeah, add it to the agent by keying the passphrase. Yeah, just connect it to ELA, from where we can jump onto our compute nodes. Yeah, this is our complete process. I mean, the process to generate certificates and connect. And let me go back to the PowerPoint. So yeah, I can see that you may have several questions, like we come up with these frequently asked questions, which I go through, and then we may have a question and answer session, on chat. I see a couple of questions already, and yeah, some raise hands. Okay, first I will start with these frequently asked questions where users may say like, I forgot my phone and we need to temporarily disable the MFA. Yes, we can do that. Users just need to write a ticket to CSCS, and also in the ticket they need to mention like what is the expected duration they want to disable MFA. Based on that, we can just disable for that time, specific time. And also some questions like if we change the phone or if we lost the phone, can we authenticate? In that case, yeah, again, we need to raise a ticket to CSCS, and then CSCS will help us users to reset your MFA and help to re-enroll. And also, yeah, as Google Authenticator allows transfer of seats, it's also works, but yeah, it depends on which authenticator we are using, also matters. And the last one is like, can we register somewhere else or something else than phone? Yes, but it's not recommended because storing a password and also the MFA can lower the security a little bit. And these are the first 4 questions we see. And the next 4 is like, can I let my SSH connection open? Yes, for now. But going forward, maybe we will apply some duration, like if I put a duration limit in the future. So yeah. Some questions be like, can I exempt it from doing MFA? Unfortunately, no. But for some use cases, we can grant exceptions with some justifications provided. Next one is like, if there is any workflow engine that uses SSH, yeah. The thing is like, we have our Firecrest, which can help the workflow engines. So we will recommend to use Firecrest, in order to run the workflow engines. Or if I offer, I mean, some services are offered through service account. In those cases, what shall we do? So the answer is like, we can let you create a key pair, which is valid for longer time, say 1 year, but some scopes will be applied. Like this validation, I mean, this key is valid for 1 year, but can be accessible from a specific IP. So we can we can show like what are the restrictions we applied on these long-term valid keys. So with that, I will quickly move on to questions. Maybe we can start with the people who raise their hands first. I couldn't see. Okay, I will go with the order which I'm seeing here. So I will start with Lorenzo.
So thank you for the presentation. Can you hear me?
Yes, Lorenzo, loud and clear.
Okay, perfect. So my question is, if we have a workflow which connects via SSH, and I mean, this workflow has to work for not just the CSCS, but multiple servers. So, and let's say I do not want to re-implement the connection with this API. Is it possible to continue to use it? I mean, or to generate a key which lasts for more than 24 hours?
So the answer is like, is this application is running from a specific IP? And
Yes.
yeah, in that case, we can give you an exemption where you need to raise a ticket so that our team will grant you a key. I mean, you can actually raise it through the SSH service, which is valid for 1 year.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you. And the next one is Luis Morris.
Oh, do you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, fantastic. Thank you so much for the presentation. So I'm in a bit of a similar spot as Lorenzo. However, I was using SSH tunnels, but recently, I think since last Friday, somehow this doesn't work anymore. Is this related to the new implementation of the MFA, or is it maybe something else? Hello?
So you are...
No, it's not related. We saw your ticket. We will work on it.
Okay, fantastic. Thank you so much.
Perfect. Thank you. And Lorenzo Monaseli.
No, sorry, I forgot to lower my hand. It was the same as before.
That's okay, no problem. I will go on to Dirk.
Hello, can you hear me?
I did. Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, thank you very much. Now, this OTP is the code that you get via this Authenticator app, right?
Yeah. It's
so probably need something like one-time password or so, huh? Right?
Sorry, Dave.
So it probably means something like one-time password, OTP.
That's right, yeah.
Okay. Now, what I don't understand, let me ask the question provocatively. You said that you need, via this Authenticator, you need to get the one-time password. And then you need this password and your regular password and your username in order to generate a key pair and use that key pair to then essentially log in with SSH.
That's correct. Yeah.
But why do you need to go through this? Which additional security does it provide? Anybody who has access to this one-time password and to the regular password can log in then.
Right. So the thing is, like, these certificates which we are generating are signed with our with our certificate authority. And
so it's just about limiting the session to a certain time, or
yes. And
it does not provide any additional security, right?
Sorry, additional security in the sense.
Well, I mean, if you were just requiring this one-time password, the regular password, your username, and you could log in, would be the same level of security as what you do, where you additionally have this signed key pair that you get in order to log in. There's no more authentication on the way, right?
Right. For SSH, you are just using the certificate, but the security is like we are signing it with our CA.
Yeah, but you would even sign it to somebody else who has access to the the OTP and the regular password. Once you have the one-time password, the regular password, the username, or the authentication has been accepted, right?
Right. If
the
authentication is
remainder, namely the key pair generation, in order to log in, is only required to limit the time of the session. It's no further security feature or level, which means the original idea of this SSH process is not used anymore for security, right? I mean, I'm asking just in a very primitive way, but that's my primitive understanding of it.
So the SSH key is also helping users because you only need to authenticate once a day with the OTP. And then the key can be used for 24 hours to access the systems without having to type password. And you can easily jump from one host to the other.
For this convenience and
Yeah.
for limiting the time of the session, but it's not for authentication anymore. The authentication has taken place before.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And how does it work with this authentication on the phone? I mean, there seem to be various implementations, and I have no idea how they work. But for the university, there's the Microsoft Authenticator app, where you are just saying, okay, yes, I want to authenticate, and then you're logged in. Whereas here, the Authenticator app seems to spit out some password, right? That you need to type in on the computer.
Yes, so during the project, we have been selecting various technologies. We're trying them, and we decided to go for this solution because it seems to have the least impact on the users, because there is many proprietary multi-factor authentication mechanism which require you to install clients on your computer or closed source clients on your phone. And now we are using this OTP generation based on the Google Authenticator app, which if you don't want to use it, you can use free alternatives which are compatible and should be open. So basically,
so there are some apps that are compatible, but not all of them.
No.
Is this Microsoft Authenticator compatible?
It might be, but from Keycloak perspective, there are only 2 certified for now, which is one is Google Authenticator and the second one is free OTP. But we tested with a couple of other, and yeah, it's
okay. No, thank you.
So thanks, Jake. Maybe we need to move on to others if you don't mind, because there are quite a number of people. So thanks. Next one is Luis. Go on, Luis. Hi, Luis.
In general, what you require is that everybody has a cell phone, right?
Yeah.
And the employers do not provide cell phones normally.
Mm-hmm.
So I, as a user, have to pay for it to be able to use the access, and not my employer is paying for it, right?
There must be some device. It might be an employer's device, or yeah.
So till yesterday, I could, or in an abstract way, I could just use the CSCS services without requiring my personal devices.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure that neither ETH nor CSCS are providing their users a cell phone to be able to use OTP. So in essence, what you require now is that users pay with their private money for a service which is supposed to be free for the user himself in a private sense. Right?
Right. And this is the basic, actually, any device, and for it is a basic requirement for the OTP.
Yeah. Okay, my employer is providing me a laptop. That's fine, but you already had concerns that people use laptops for this. So I see there are some contradicting and in some sense even work-related issues which are not easy to resolve. So I just claim that that is a problem. And most sites I know using MFA are providing OTP tokens to the users.
Right. So there are options. You can have a tool that can install on the laptop, which don't usually recommend, but yeah. And TOTP can also, can be configured on the browser if required. So there are options. You can just.
I just wanted to make that point because there's an assumption behind, which is work-related. I would even claim dishonest, because it's lowering your income because you have to use your private stuff for work-related issues, and that's not okay. And this itself is not okay.
You can use your laptop. You can install a tool on your laptop. I assume that you are using a laptop to connect to CSCS.
It's fine. No, I use my
so
main...
there is no need to have a phone.
Yeah, no. It's okay. It's more a formal thing because as you present it, there are some ways around, but in general, you expect that people have a work-related phone.
We expect that the people is able to read a 6-letter digit either from his phone, that it's the most convenient. But obviously, there are cases with people without phones. There can be installed. There is a tool installed on a laptop. There is absolutely no problem.
Okay, no, that's fine with me. So that was one point. The other one is now I have 2 sites which I want to connect, and what I currently do is I do that automatically during night. But now both sites introduced MFA, and now I don't have a robot which is typing in the OTP token numbers. Because I need to do it on both sides. So if they try to connect automatically, that's giving a kind of problem.
So if you need to do it during the night, you can use the SSH key generated because it can last for 24 hours.
And what's about the weekend? I mean,
it is also 24 hours.
Yeah. So I would need to work on the weekend, right?
But you were asking that.
Yeah, I was asking, what shall I do? Because if I have a 72 or 48-hour key, I could just do it on Friday and it will rely till Monday, and that's fine. So I don't need to work on the weekend. Because I think Daint is delivering 24/7, right? But employers are only asked to work from Monday to Friday. And if I would like to do data transfers or whatever on the weekend and automatically, then the 24 hours are not sufficient, I think.
So if there is any specific case like this, you can actually raise a long-term key with which you can, but it is very specific to an IP address. So yes, it is possible.
Good. Now, it was just a question because we already have this situation that we cannot transfer between 2 sites because both of them are asking for OTP, blah, 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 and it's really a nightmare.
Sure. Understood. But it's okay. But if you have any questions, please write to us. We can take it offline and we can directly answer.
Okay, so you offer flexibility to the official rules.
Flexibility in the sense that falls under our terms and conditions and our what are the conditions we define.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thanks. And maybe I will quickly move on to the chats or maybe, okay, I will do one thing. The questions which are on the chat, we will just answer offline because we see 3 or 4 hands still rise. So if you don't mind, we will answer those chat questions offline later. And Helen, I'm unmuting you. Helen. Hello. Okay. So moving on, I will move to Jusong. Jusong Liu.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, great. So my question is more about the Firecrest you just mentioned, and this Firecrest would be the alternative, or it will be a parallel to this multi-factor authentication. And if I understand correctly, the Firecrest will be provide more specific for the scope that what you can use, but this SSH way is more you can grant it with more permissions, but you can do more malicious things. So it's more strict in my sense, right?
Okay. So Firecrest is not an alternative to MFA. Firecrest has its own authentication mechanism where you need to register a client ID and client secret, and then you will get an access token, and then you can connect to Firecrest API to run jobs or do some of these things as slum jobs or anything related that was still under development in some of the cases. So yeah.
Okay, so in this multi-factor authentication SSH way, you are not able to like only grant a part of operations. But
no, we are not scoping it. It is open. It is exactly the same functionalities that are possible, but just with our CA sign key.
Okay. Yeah. Makes sense. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. And moving on to Darren.
Thank you for taking the question. So maybe some of my question was already answered, as I have a similar workflow where we do essentially automated SSH or SSH by cron job from a specific IP typically. Maybe you can recommend, you mentioned there's the possibility of getting a year-long key as an exemption, but I wanted to ask, why is that an advantage to, if it's an option to just install Oath tool on the machine and just automate the password generation from that?
So you want to install a Oath tool on your laptop and then automate, right?
Yeah, or from a virtual machine, for example. Yeah.
Yeah, it's possible. As I said earlier, it's possible, but it is not recommended because the password and the MFA are on the same machine. That is the only thing. That is the reason why I said not recommended, but it is, yes, feasible.
Okay. Thank you for the confirmation. Thanks.
Yep, welcome. Thank you. And moving on to Alexander.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Perfect. So I have a couple of keys, a couple of questions, so I'll try to be quick. First one, for this 24 hours lifetime of the key pair, can it be extended? Because to me, it looks like, for the machine, it doesn't really matter whether it's 1 day or one week, but for humans, it's a big difference. And as it was already raised previously, 24 hours is rather short. So it's just my understanding, but feels to me that extending for a little bit more wouldn't be a big harm for the security.
Okay. The thing is, like, for now, we decided to go with 24-hour because one is like, as a human, we cannot sit and work for 24 hours. But if we want to work on the next day, you need to generate a new key.
Oh, okay. So, so basically, can you confirm that this time will never be changed, or like there might be a discussion? Or
for now, this is the way we are considering for the future, but for now, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, and then yes. Sorry. Why if the point is basically to rotate the keys, would it be possible to just provide a script that basically just it does it automatically?
Automatically, in the sense,
Yeah, so for example, if the key lives for 24 hours, just like 1 hour before, it rotates the keys and deletes the previous key instead of doing the multing. Because again, we're all thinking about these automated workflow tools, and you know, it can be a little bit difficult to make it, you know, to have a human intervene every time.
Sure. If there are some, let's say there are some client applications running these SSH, you can just raise a ticket for the long-term key, and we can use that key instead of this 24-hour key.
And the last thing, maybe more of a suggestion, can you maybe release this Python script on PyPy? So instead of doing this, you know,
yeah, we have a script for like both shell script and also the Python script.
Yeah, I'm just saying the Python script, it's now on GitHub. Would be a good idea, I guess, to release it.
It is on GitHub.
No. PyPy. PyPy is a different thing. It's Python. Like.
Oh, okay. Python. Okay.
Because then you can just do pip install whatever the package name, and that's it. Instead of manually cloning, installing dependency, and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. Just a suggestion.
I will take it as an idea, and we will see if we can do that. Yep.
Thanks.
Yeah. Thanks a lot. So moving on to Giovanni, and yep.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
I think I'm asking probably as a third person the same question. So I think really you should reconsider this, which is, I think 1 day is too short. Because I imagine the machine, your goal is to have the machine always running. The queue time is 1 day, right? About 24-hour maximum on the machines. And most people here have some kind of scripts which, you know, checks if the script something is finished and start another step. Even if on Friday evening I renew my token, on Saturday I should wherever I am in the world, I have to open a computer and create a SSH key and put it in the right place for the script to continue working. So I think 3 days is really the minimum to allow people to work from Friday afternoon to Monday morning. There might be cases in which people maybe take 1 or 2 days off, or there are some holidays. So I honestly don't see a strong reason to say 1 week is too much. I mean, just to make an example, at PSI, they just introduced recently multi-factor authentication for email access, and the time is 2 weeks, which to me, there's some inconvenience every 2 weeks, but 2 weeks is reasonable. I'm not saying 2 weeks, but I would say at least 5 to 7 days would be much more reasonable, because one can do, again, once a week, and even if there are a couple of days of holiday, one doesn't have to stop their workflows.
Oh, yeah, sure. Because we are going to start a pilot run for this month, maybe starting from tomorrow. And then, yeah, as you said, we are also looking at some other options, and also we will consider if we can extend this time frame a little bit, but not for longer time, like 1 week, but we will consider it definitely.
So you're saying, sorry, just to follow up, I think we can already discuss the length, but the follow-up, you're saying that from tomorrow, this will be enforced and we have to use this?
Not to all users. We are just, okay. As I said in the starting of the demo, we are going to release this to the users in batch wise, starting maybe first week of January. But tomorrow, we would like to perform a pilot launch with some beta users.
Okay, but anyway, I think going back, I think it's really, I would really ask you very strongly to reconsider the length of these tokens. Thanks.
Yeah, thanks, Gianni. And last one is Paolo Conflitti.
Hi, thank you for your presentation. Can you hear me?
Yes, Paolo.
Okay, thank you very much. So just one question. It's similar to what the others already asked you, but I wanted to understand. I never used Firecrest. You mentioned that it works using a different credential system, right?
Sorry, can you please repeat?
I'm talking about Firecrest.
Yeah, Firecrest. Yeah.
Okay, you said that it's based on a different credential system. Is that right?
Yes, that's correct.
So in theory, I do not have to input the OTP using this approach.
Yes.
Okay, so I could create a workflow that will allow me to download everything over SSH using Firecrest. Is that possible?
No, we don't have such workflow. But may I know your use case? Like what the thing you need to download using SSH and work with Firecrest?
Yeah, basically, I'm the same situations of all the other people that actually intervene during this Q&A. I have a workflow that allows me to download everything during night, so that on morning I can get on my workstation and work my stuff. So I was looking for an alternative because, as the other said, 24 hours is too low. 72 hours will be the optimum for me too, because I don't have to go back during the weekend, even though I probably will do it. But I want, in case I cannot, I don't have to think about, oh, wait, I have to go back and renew my key because otherwise everything will be stopped.
Yeah. Again, Firecrest you can use for, I'm not sure if the data transfer is implemented in Firecrest yet, but I can check. And for this case, we can actually propose the same, like long-term key can be ideal solution maybe.
Yeah, it could be, since we works with workstation that have a static IP.
Yeah, it is the limitation, like from, but you might connect from a VPN, I mean, organization's VPN that will create one from our side. That is a static IP gate.
Okay. Thank you.
Thanks, Paulo. And the last one in the list is Marek Jacob.
Yes. So, hi. Now you should be able to hear me, right?
Yes, Marek.
So one question or clarification. The lifetime of the SSH key is not connected to the lifetime of the session. So you could have your session open for more than 24 hours.
That's right.
Yeah.
This is only for authentication, but not for the session. If the public cert is expired, then you need to generate a new certificate in order to connect to a login node or the DANE.
All right. So if one could refactor the weekend job such it uses permanent connection, that would be possible with your new solution already.
Yeah, that's true. It's possible. And going forward in the future, based on some security recommendations, we may limit the access time, I mean the session time, but for now, yeah, it is the way.
Great, thanks.
Yep. And because of the time limitation, I would like to take, like, we will publish this video in one of our public forums, and also we will answer each of these questions we are seeing in the chat. And yeah, and also if you have many other questions, please write to us. We will try to respond accordingly by giving some additional information. With that said, yeah, I think we are good to go. Have a very nice week ahead. Thanks again for joining us in today's webinar.